it's Anya here, and I'm back with another video for Ophelia Talks Crochet. And in this video we are making a basket with coasters. Now I wanted to make a lovely basket, and we have a nice stitch here which we have also used in a different project, but I cannot get enough of the stitch, of doing the stitch, and also of the look of this stitch. I just really like it. So I thought, let's make it in the round, so hence why we are making a basket. And then of course I wanted to make the basket for something, and the easiest thing of course is some coasters. So we have 6 coasters in each basket, and as you can see I am doing my little trick again of using lots of colors from my stash, and I'm holding them together in a strand of 5, and oh my goodness, look at these lovely color combinations that you get. So you get such a surprise if you start just putting your leftovers together and start crocheting with them. So this one here is quite a bright one. I just used whatever I had in my stash, and I really enjoy doing that. I have not had enough yet of using 5 strands together, so yeah. So I hope you will be interested in making this project as well. Now it's not only practical of course, because yes, we need a coaster sometimes for our hot drink, but it is also one of those projects that you can make and you can sell. So if you have a craft stall where you sell crocheted items, then this one is a good one for that. It's a lovely gift as well. It's easy to make, and yeah, it looks stunning. So there we go. Let's get started. So for this project I used the leftovers from my mosaic cal blanket, the Odyssey yarn pack, and here I have some of the leftovers, but in this combination I used the berry, and in this combination I didn't use the berry but I used the mocha. So I have storm blue, mocha, denim, duck egg and pale rose. So today we're going to get started by making the base of the basket, and to be honest, the base of the basket is also the coaster. So I will tell you where to cut off and then sew in your ends, and then I will also of course tell you where to continue to make the actual basket. So of course we're going to have to start with the coaster or the base of our basket, and it's always the same thing really. We are going to be doing rounds, and each round needs an increase, and so I am here to tell you what kind of increase you need to do for each round. I use American terminology and I am using my 5mm hook. So first of all, we've made our slip knot. I'm going to do 2 chains, 1 and 2. And I'm going to go back into my first chain and open it up, because this is going to be the circle that I'm going to be working in. And when you're holding strands like this together, you need to consider them as being one strand. So each time you pick up a strand, you are in fact picking up this whole lot. So you've got to train your eye to see, are there 5 strands there? Do I see those 5 different colours? Is there a colour missing? And if there is a colour missing, then you'll just have to try and pull it up if you can. But the best thing to do is to just come out with your hook and do the stitch again. You might be fiddling around with the strands for much longer than if you just undid the stitch and redid it. So right, we are here ready to get started. We have our chain 1, we have that done. So now we're going to do 7 single crochets into that opened first chain 1. So insert into the circle, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through the 2 loops on your hook. But in fact we need 8 V's on the outside of our work, but that 8th one we make that with our slip stitch. So as you can see, the hole has become bigger, so we're going to pull the ends and look, the hole will get smaller. So pull it really tightly. And now we're going to go and find our first chain. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You go under the 7th V, and you're going to do a slip stitch, and that slip stitch will now make our 8th V. So this is what we need to get started. This is round 1. Now for round 2, we're going to place 2 stitches in each stitch around. So from 8 stitches we will be making 16 stitches. So to get started for round 2, you're going to chain 1, and before we actually do our stitches, we're going to try and take along our end here, so we don't have to sew them in later. So here, this V straight after that slip stitch that we did, that is the one that we're going to be using for our first location for our 2 single crochets. So make sure you have all those strands picked up, as well as the strands from our ends. 1, and yeah, look, I got caught somewhere. I am not going to be pulling, I'm just going to come out and do it again, because that's the best way to go about doing this. And am I doing it again? Possibly, but it worked this time. There we go. Okay, so in the next stitch for another 2 single crochets. And indeed, when I say pick up the strands, that also means you are in fact picking up the 5 here, the 5 there of the V, and of course this time you also have all your ends to deal with, so another 5 strands. But it's okay, because it will help with the sturdiness of our coaster, or the base of your basket, depending on what you're going to use this particular item for that we're making here. But also, it means we don't have to sew in the ends. Now, as you can see, this hole is reappearing, but no worries there. We can pull the end in a moment, and that way we will still be able to close this up. So that's what I'm going to do now. So I'm going to pull all the ends, because they're at a length where I can still do that. And make sure you keep your crocheted item flat between your fingers like this, and you pull. Can you see how it's pulling together? Because of course you're not only pulling this bit, you're also pulling in here. So you can't pull too much, because otherwise you're going to crumple this up. Okay, but this I think is okay. Let me try again. So just hold on to this bit here, so that doesn't sort of move too much, but there we go. I think that's where we're at. Okay, so I'm going to continue with placing 2 single crochets under each V, also of course taking along the rest of my ends, and I will see you at the end of the round. Now I'm here at the last stitch of my round, and I'm going to place my first single crochet in there. But then if we place a second single crochet in there and then do our slip stitch, that means we're going to have an extra stitch. So I'm not going to do my second stitch here. All I'm going to do is count back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Under the 15th V, I'm going to go under that one, bring back the yarn and make my slip stitch. And this way we've closed our round, we've created an extra V, and this is the number of V's we need. So now for round 3, we are of course going to do the increase ratio for round 3. And that means we're going to get started with a chain 1 just to create the height. Then here, this is our first stitch, and the increase ratio for round 3 is the following. You do 1 single crochet in the first stitch, and then in the next stitch you do an increase. So that means you do 2 single crochets in the same stitch. So this is your repeat. So you're going to be repeating 3 stitches, 1 in the first stitch, 2 in the next stitch, and that is your increase ratio for round 3. So 1, 2 and 3. I will see you at the end of the round. Now I have made it to the last stitch of my round. Here I should be putting 2 stitches in there, but I am only going to be placing 1, and then I'm going to let my slip stitch count as the second one. There we go. So now we're on round 4, and we're going to do the increase ratio for round 4, and that is 1 single crochet in the first stitch, 1 single crochet in the next stitch, and 2 single crochets in the next stitch. Voila. So 1, 1, 2, or 1, 2, 3, and 4 goes in with 3. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Voila. I will see you at the end of the round. So once again here I am going to just place the 1 stitch instead of the 2, and the second one is going to be represented by my slip stitch. There we go. So in this round now we have 32 stitches, so we've gone from 8, 16, 24 to 32. So now we're going to do another round, because for the coaster I've been doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rounds. Okay, so another round and our coaster will already be finished. So chain 1, this time we're going to do the increase ratio for round 5. So that means you're doing 1 single crochet to get started. Did I lose a one? No, that's fine. 1, then we do a second one in the second stitch, 2, 3, and then 4 and 5 go in the next stitch. So your repeat this time is 1, 1, 1 and 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I will see you at the end of the round. So I've made it to the end of the round. Once again I am going to place 1 single crochet in that last stitch and making that slip stitch count for my last stitch there. So now this is the end of the coaster. So this is usually where I cut off the yarn, pull out the ends, and then I pull it under here so it makes an invisible end there, and then it brings the ends to the back, and then I sew them in there. So I will show you properly how to do that invisible stitch when I finish the basket. Okay, so here I am now going to cut off these yarns. So this is going to be the outside, so the base of your basket, and then we are going to have to make the sides. But for the basket, I want this to be a little bit bigger, because otherwise you're not going to be able to fit your coasters in. So you need a little bit of space to be able to go in and get them out. So we're going to do 2 more rounds to make the base of our basket here. So let's get started again by putting our hook back in the loop. Well, in fact, you'll have to make 6 of these, or however many you want to put in your basket, each time cutting them off and sewing in the ends. But then, of course, when you're making the basket, you're going to have to make 1 of these and do 2 more rounds. So let's get started with round 6. So chain 1, so that means we're doing the increase for round 6, and that's doing 6 stitches in a row, and the 6th stitch goes in with the 5th one. So we're going to count to 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now number 6 goes in with number 5. There we go, and that is your repeat. I'll see you at the end of the round. So I'm now at the end of my round. I've done that first stitch of the 2, but of course the second one I'm not doing. I am doing a slip stitch instead. And now for the 7th round of the base of our basket, we're going to get started with a chain 1, and we're doing the increase ratio for round 7. That means we're going to count to 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then number 7 goes in with number 6. There we go. And that is your repeat this time. So I have made it to the end of the round. I've only done 1 single crochet in the last stitch, but I'm going to let my slip stitch count as that 2nd single crochet that should have been in there. There we go. So this is our base. This is going to be the outside of our base. This is going to be what you see on the inside. So we're going to hold our work like this, and we're going to get started by doing single crochets. No more increases, and that way we will get started on doing the sides. But we are going to start using the back loop only, and indeed it would be nicer if we had done that with our slip stitch already as well. So I'm just going to go undo my stitch, and I'm going to just pick up the back loop there, do my slip stitch, and then go and do a chain, and in that same back loop do my single crochet. There we go. Okay, so that has now set us up for starting our sides. So I am going to be picking up the back loop only for single crochets all around the edge of my work. And soon you will notice that your single crochets are standing up a little bit, forming of course the sides of our basket that we are creating. I will see you at the end of the round. So I have made it all the way around. In the last stitch I'm not doing a stitch, I'm just going to do a slip stitch and let that count as my last stitch. There we go. So now, as you can tell, look, it's all a little bit wonky, but that's okay because it is handmade, and of course we are also trying to create a sturdy fabric, so our hook is too small really, so we need to just make sure we shape it to what we want it to be, and if we do this a couple of times it will just stay there. So you will already also notice that you now have an edge, and this is of course the beginning of the sides that will grow and they become taller. Now, as you can tell here, I did a nice little design in here. I love the look of this, so I'm going to show you how to do that in a moment. And I am now going to start with spiraling up. I think that's going to make life a little bit easier, and as we don't need to worry about where we're going to end because we've got the handle, so we can easily hide any unevenness, we're going to go up in a spiral. So we're going to put our hook back in the loop. There we go. Always good to do that when you're working with multiple strands. And here we are now just going to get started with a stitch repeat with a stitch design that will take up 2 stitches. So I have 56 stitches, so hopefully it should work out. I can't remember, but I don't, yeah, look here, it didn't quite work out, but that's okay. So we're going to get started by doing a waistcoat single crochet in the first stitch here. So a waistcoat stitch is where you go into the stitch, but you're going to go down below and you're actually going to go into that location there. So not under the V like this, because to be honest, we've just done that, so I would be undoing my slip stitch there. But I'm going to go down lower and yeah, pull up all my strands and come out again there and do my single crochet. Now you're not going to see the effect straight away, but as you can tell here, there is going to be an effect. So it looks like it's like a little chain going up, but in fact you're taking the stitches in such a way that you're going into the body of them and you're creating a V on the outside of your stitch. So the more you do that, the more visible it will get. Then the next stitch we're going to do is a single crochet in the back loop only. So we pick up these strands there and we do our single crochet. Then here we're doing a waistcoat stitch again. So you go into it quite low down and you go into the body of the actual stitch. So if I show you the location with a freshly made single crochet, because it's bigger than the one here, this here is the location that you have to go into there. So it's completely under the V, under any strands that there might be there, like a third loop or something like that. So you're just going under here. And this will lie just above this, because your V here is going to just cover the V of the stitch below. And so you go into that one right there. Okay? Right. Let's continue. So our next stitch is a back loop single crochet. Then a waistcoat one, so you go down low enough. Yeah, I lost a strand there, voila. Then back loop only. And this is how you are going to continue. I will meet you when I think I'm at the end of the round here, because of course we are going to be spiraling up, so you won't sort of notice that, but I will be noticing it when for the first time I have to go into a waistcoat there. So I will be back when I get here to just show you how it all works out at the location where you just are going to go and keep on going. So I've made it all the way around. This is where my first waistcoat stitch is. So here I have to do a back loop only, so that's perfect. So I'm doing my back loop only there. So then I'm going to go into the waistcoat stitch and do another one on top of that. So this is exactly what we are going to be doing for the rest of the sides of the basket. So you're going to place a back loop only single crochet where you already have one in the row below, and you're going to do a waistcoat stitch where there is one in the row below. Voila! And it's as easy as that. And now you can keep on spiraling up until you think your basket is tall enough. I have now done 8 rounds, spiraling up, doing my back loop only single crochet and my waistcoat single crochet. I noticed that here I started doing that, so this would be my last stitch of my round. Now I am going to make handles, and so to indicate where they are going to be, as you see I have already placed my stitch markers. I have counted my stitches. My handles are going to take up 10 stitches each, so 10 stitches here and 10 stitches there. So 56 stitches minus 20 stitches is 36 stitches, and 36 divided by 2, that means I'm going to have 18 stitches here and 18 stitches here. Okay, so to get started for our handle, for which we are going to use 10 stitches, in the first stitch we're going to do a single crochet. So let me do that one just under both the strands of the V. Voila. Then I'm going to do a chain of 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then in the stitch with the stitch marker, which is our 10th stitch, let's not lose sight of that one, we're going to do a single crochet. Voila, there we go. Now in this one I started doing normal single crochets, but to be honest there's nothing stopping you from continuing the pattern, so that's what I'm going to do here. So this one should have been a waistcoat one, so that's fine, I'm going to leave that as it is. And here I am now doing the back loop only one, here the waistcoat. So I'm continuing our pattern that we have been doing all along. And I will see you when I meet the next stitch marker. So I made it to the next stitch marker, and here I'm going to do my single crochet just under the 2 strands of the V. There we go. Now we're going to chain 10. 1, 2, 9, and 10. And then we go to the next stitch marker here and we place a single crochet in there. There we go. Voila. Now I'm going to continue with my stitch repeat until I meet the handle again, and I will see you there. Then we are here, and now I'm just going to start doing single crochets around the handle. And we've done 10 chains, but that doesn't necessarily mean we'll be doing 10 single crochets. So I tend to do more single crochets because I want to fill up my handle really nicely so that it is looking nice and tied with lots of strands and the V's on top. So just see how many you can manage to get around there, and you're now going to see that it's going to be 10. So 2, 4, 6, 8, yeah, probably. Oh dear. Yeah, that's going to be 10. Oh well, I think it looks nice, and that's the main thing. Okay, so now we are basically here, we skipped that single crochet. That's what we're going to do here as well. And so our first stitch here is the back loop single crochet, so we're going to go into that one and do the repeat again as we are used to. Of course, when you get to the other handle you'll have to do exactly the same, and then I will meet you when you have completed your 2 handles. You've gone all the way around and you are back here again. So I have gone all the way around. I completed my second handle, And then here I've got the 2 last stitches to do. So I'm going to do these 2 as slip stitches, because we have got a difference in height, because of course we've been spiraling up. And here I think if I just do 2 slip stitches, then that way, this is a waistcoat, so I'm just going to go in where I usually go in and just do a slip stitch instead of a single crochet, and that way it sort of, you know, finishes it off nicely. So now we're going to cut off the yarn. I'm going to pull out the loop, and then with my hook I'm going to go in to a location from the back here, so in about, let's see, can I, yeah, there, and I'm going to bring the yarn to the back. There we go. So we have a neat ending here, which I don't think you can, you know, you can tell. And then here you will have to use your needle to sew in your ends. So this is the basket that we made in today's video, as well as of course the instructions for the coasters. I am really happy with how they came out, and here, especially in my prototype one, I just used leftover yarns, and I changed color quite often, and so each coaster has a different combination, and I really like that. So I do hope you will enjoy making this project as well, and do please let me know if you would be interested in making this for yourself, for a gift, or if you need projects like this for your craft stall. So if you are someone who sells crocheted items, please do let me know, because I would be very interested in making more items for you that will sell, or that are also easy for you to make, that are stunning and that are lovely, that will attract people to your stall. So thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you will try to make it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!